Raven.
And I'm Farinir. And we bought a house. If you joined us for the last episode of this little renovation journey that we're on, you'll know exactly what kind of mess that we've got ourselves into.
This is our first home and we've bought very much a fixer-upper. And it turns out last time, which was about 4 to 5 weeks ago, we thought we knew the extent of the building work that we would have to do. It has come to our attention that we do not know the extent of the building work needing to be done. And so what was going to be only a few weeks is now looking like a couple of months. But it's fine, it's all going really well so far. We're going to take you for a tour on the whole house, all of the changes, all of the things that we talked about last time that have been done now, and then what needs to be being done moving forward.
Absolutely. We've been coming like every week or so and getting little snapshots, little photos and little clips of us going through the house to log all the changes in between. So we'll go through those and then we'll take you on a full journey of exactly where we're at now. We're making progress, but it's a big job.
Since our last video 4 to 5 weeks ago, we went to Bloodstock not long after filming that, and I caught COVID, and I then gave COVID to Farinir, and I then developed a chest infection from coughing so much. So that's one of the reasons there is a bigger gap. We were hoping for like a 3 to 4 week, and we've had to do a sort of 4 to 5 week gap. It's also why my voice and your voice sounds a little bit more husk than it usually does. It's almost back to normal, but there's still a little raspiness to it. So we do apologise in advance for that, and if it's annoying, and hopefully next time we will be, I hope in 3 weeks time,
I would hope so by
we
then.
are completely back to normal. But yeah, that is just a little preface of why we sound a bit crap, is that we've just been recovering from the lurg.
Back in action now though. Oh yeah. Should we go?
Yes. So this room has largely remained the same as it was last time, except for one new addition here. A doorway. This room originally did have 2 doors, and this one had been covered up. And our spare bedroom isn't really big enough to put a bed in it, but we still want to be able to have guests over. So we thought that we can split this room in half temporarily when we have guests. So this half is going to be the living room, and then the back half is going to be a sort of like library-ish area. So we're hoping to have some kind of like sliding door or even like a curtain rail, so that when we have guests over, they can use the other door and have an enclosed, separated room that's still private enough, and people can still use the living room if they want to. So we literally just made a hole in the wall, and it just kind of like was fine.
We found the old doorway.
So it still has the original like frame still in, even where like the hinges were for the door. We're literally just missing the door part, and we've thought about whether we want to actually get a new door, because it is kind of fine just having it as a walkway. The only downside is that when it's cold, obviously it will let heat out, but we do have double doors at the front, so it might be okay. So might need a door, might not. We'll just kind of see how it goes.
Wing it.
Yeah, wing it.
Nice.
But otherwise, I think this room, we also had to move this plug socket because that socket was like kind of here on the wall. Obviously, no longer gonna be the wall. So yeah, other than that, I think this room is pretty much the same as it was.
Perfect.
We hadn't started taking the wallpaper off the hallway, had we?
No.
So that's the next big thing. This actually has like a really cute pattern underneath, but all of this was wallpapered, and some of the wall was covered in polystyrene, so that had to come off because it's very flammable and just not good and scuffs really easily. So we've been stripping all of the wallpaper here, except we haven't got any electric, so it means that we've had to do it kind of by manually scraping it off and just spraying water on it to soak rather than using the wallpaper removal. But it's, you know, coming.
It's working.
Ooh, with some cracks in this wall.
Uh-oh.
There's still like a lot to do all up here.
Yeah.
And we've also had the ceiling starting to be repaired as well. So you can see all down here. This was all...
ceiling.
So this begins the discussion on having more work than we thought needed to be done. Because basically the whole house was wallpapered. So the only way to know the quality of the wall was to knock it. You know, there's a few places that had cracks in, but there was nothing like terrible other than in the bedroom. And so we only really knew how bad things were when starting to take the wallpaper off. And that's when we realized that pretty much all of the walls and ceilings need replacing. Like 80% of them.
Yeah, no exaggeration.
So yeah, that's going to be the theme of today, is how many walls and ceilings can we replace in 2 weeks? So you can see all along here.
Got the state of
Same
that.
story. Now this wall isn't a structural wall, so it's not actually holding the building. I mean, obviously it helps, you know, but it's not like a foundation wall. So these kind of walls are really quick and easy to fix because they're just kind of like a fake wall. It's the big like structural ones that are much harder. Then the kitchen. I can't quite remember. I remember the ceiling was out and was just beams.
I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
But this the kitchen is now pretty much entirely done. They've done a really nice job going around here.
Looking much better.
The only bits that need doing now are just on this wall. There's a few little patches, you know, kind of here and there, but largely it's done now.
Yep. Ideal.
And
huge difference to how it started.
Yeah, the price of the kitchen that we put in last video with like the plans of it and everything, that's estimated to be about £5,000, and that's with us fitting it as well. And we can't really get much cheaper. Because of all of the extra building work that we're having to do now, we're not entirely sure if we're going to be able to get the kitchen yet. We might be able to, but it's very tight. Very, very tight. So we're just gonna kind of see how things go and prioritize the bedroom and office, because to be honest, we've got things like a microwave, it's a combi microwave, an air fryer, and then like a portable induction hob and a kettle. So to be honest, we can just sort of like put our old office desks in here and make do. It's not ideal, but like we can still eat here, you know? So yes, that's also a slight complication to all of this, is that we might not be able to have the fitted kitchen yet.
See how it goes.
We'll see.
I'll try not to upskirt you this time.
A little tiny room. This room hasn't had much done, but it's had a few things. So this was falling out last time we were here. We had the stick and we're scraping it out. So that's been fixed.
Much better.
There was also the big holes in the floor. They've started to be fixed. And the ceiling has been replaced as well. So that just needs plastering now. But otherwise, kind of others. This wall's fine. These walls are covered in polystyrene. So all of the polystyrene has to come off ideally, and then we'll see what's underneath. Because again, all of these walls, we thought this one might be a bit troublesome, but we didn't expect all of the rooms to be bad.
No,
underneath.
that was the surprise.
That's been the main catch, is that all of the rooms have had problems under the wallpaper. So yeah, this room's pretty much fine.
Good.
The bathroom is the same, minus ceiling.
What ceiling?
We don't have a ceiling. That's because we're putting the attic in the loft. So we didn't have any loft flooring at all, and the beams for upstairs weren't even like okay for making a floor. They were really flimsy, really thin, and a lot of the screws holding them together were like falling out, and so they were just kind of like hanging. We'll put some pictures of that in. So we've had to put all new beams in, build a wall, because our attic and our neighbour's attic don't have a wall between them. It's just one big attic, which is slightly concerning. And then, yeah, had the wall put in, and then a new floor and insulation put down as well. So that's why the whole upstairs ceiling has had to be done. So some of it started to be boarded over. This one is still open for now, but otherwise there's no changes in here.
Nice and easy. Onwards.
The bedroom. This didn't have a ceiling last time, and this was ironically the only room without a ceiling. It is now the only room with a completed ceiling, other than the kitchen. But upstairs, it's the only room with a completed ceiling, which is ironic. So we've moved the loft hatch that was in the corner, and we fixed this wall that was falling apart and really bad.
Much
They've
better.
done a really nice job
Really
around the
smooth.
window. It's really good.
Yeah, you'd never know.
No. Because this room realistically was the worst room in the house. It's now looking like the best room, really. So this one hasn't got anything more that needs to be done to it. We need to sand the floors, but then we're good. Like, we can paint this room and it's done.
The electricians will put their sockets in and we're golden.
Yeah, so the electricians have got to do the sockets and the light. The builders have got to put the door back on and the door frame. And then we have to sand floor. This room had skirting boards as well, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
So those back on as well. But it's very much more like decorating, finishing touches. in this room
Cosmetic
now.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the lights not really that.
No, maybe not that
Other than
bit.
the plug sockets and stuff. But they are all like nicely done now, ready to put on.
Yeah, this room's much better.
It'd be nice with the gold sockets.
Yeah, I
It looks
can't
so
wait.
good.
It's gonna look lush. We've
So
got big
good.
plans for this room.
So yeah, this room is looking, because this one, was definitely the worst. So now that it's looking the best and the closest to being done, it's very nice. Do you want to look up whilst you're here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell us about the hallway.
So all of the hallway walls were not okay. And all of the hallway ceiling was not okay.
All of that's been
wall,
replaced.
surprisingly, looks okay. There's so we've taken most of the wallpaper off, or enough so that you can at least see what's underneath. Yeah. And it's pretty much solid, which is good, because I don't know how many more walls we can take down before we just build a new house.
And this one's particularly awkward to get to.
Yeah, so that's a relief. And you can see them putting the wall in between us and the neighbour. So these purple ones here.
Brighten this up for this purpose. There we go, now you can see.
That's between us and the neighbour.
So that wall up there was not there before.
And it's good because we thought we'd have to use this back room upstairs and the back room downstairs both largely for storage because we didn't have an attic, and we had the attic hatch in the bedroom, and we weren't sure how easy it would be to move. Thankfully it's been fine, but it now means we have like all of this extra storage, so it means that we can actually use the rooms in the house far more than we thought we were going to have the ability to do. So that's real good.
Definitely, because we've got a lot of stuff to store.
Yes. So then the last room is the office. So again, this room seemed fine, and when we were away, we were on our way to Bloodstock, and they were doing the bedroom, and they took the bedroom wall down, and in doing so, the office one literally just fell down, like this wall here just started to fall down, and our builder called me and was like, hey, look, I don't want to panic you, but we're gonna have to like do this wall as well because it's falling down, because they also hoped that it would be fine, and we think one of the reasons it hasn't been okay is when the electricians have put the sockets in, it's pushed the render like off of the walls, like cracked it because of the tools they've used, so it literally just like peeled off and fell down. So then they started looking more at this room. So this whole ceiling was wallpapered, and they started to pull the wallpaper off, and the whole ceiling underneath was just covered in cracks and bits, and like chunks were like falling out. So then we knew we'd have to do all new ceiling, all new walls. Thankfully, these two look okay. It's just the other two that are less so. But again, like we thought we'd be almost done by now, not completely done, but like nearing being done, and all of these things have had to be done instead. And there's been shortcuts that we could take. So say with the bedroom, for example, we've actually lost 10 centimeters off of the bedroom and the office because of how bad those walls were. The alternative was that we would have had to take the entire structural wall down and rebuild them, and they would have cost about £2,000 each, which when already having to extend our budget just wasn't doable. So we've had to take 10 centimeters off of both rooms, but they don't feel like much smaller, so it's not bad. But there's just been lots of things like that, like we didn't expect, we planned for but didn't expect. So yeah, this whole room's having to be rebuilt.
And the other bonus of rebuilding this back wall here, of course, is that it's also helping support the weight of the new beams in the attic. So that's going to help us make that into a usable space as well.
Yeah.
which is kind of essential really. So it all works out well in the end.
And it's better soundproofing as well because they've been able to put insulation in. I mean, with the ceiling, they said that they might have been able to patch it, but the problem is that if you used the attic above it, it would have damaged the ceiling and the wall over time. And this room is going to have, quite frankly, thousands of pounds worth of equipment in it. Not only our office stuff, but also like collectibles and stuff as well. So, you know, you don't want a room where the ceiling might fall down one day. You know, for any room, you don't want that, but especially for a room where you're keeping like all of your tech and gear and stuff, you really, really don't want that. So we just said, you know, make it as sturdy as possible and as durable as possible. So though we've had to spend a lot more, there's nothing that can happen in the future that we're going to be like, oh, not sure what's behind here or not sure what's behind there, that we've got to worry about, because we've literally had to build nearly all of the walls and ceilings. So we know like what's where, and we know that these now are really good quality that are going to last a very long time. Perfect. So yes, it's getting there.
Making quick progress.
Yeah, they're doing real well. I mean, if you think it's been like 4 to 5 weeks, and for 2 of those weeks they didn't do full weeks, and it's 2 people, sometimes a third helping. They've done real good.
Yeah, really impressive.
I like how this wall is all Monet painting colours.
It is, isn't it? I thought that. Kind of nice. We'll leave it like that.
I did find there is Monet painting wallpaper, and you can just get like a big Monet mural.
That's cool.
I would like that. That would be nice.
I do feel sorry for the neighbours on that side because they don't have the extra insulation. The neighbours on this side, I'm not going to hear a bloody thing that happens in here. That side, not so much.
That's the part of the other thing, is that we told our neighbours that there'll be building work for the next few weeks to few months. And the builders have said that they've been very fine, nice, you know, chill about it all. But it is still like, it's a lot, and I feel really bad. So I think when all the building work's done, me and Farah will take over some biscuits and a thank you card for putting up with it, because it's been a lot of hardcore cutting and drilling and plastering and boarding and stomping and
into their adjacent walls as well.
Yeah, into their walls. So.
Like some of those holes that were dug into the kitchen wall, it's like, how close are we to getting into their house, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been much further.
No.
They were really deep.
No, definitely not. So yeah, we'll have to give them a thank you for putting up with us. And we promise that we'll be very good neighbours from here on out. Just that we're not normally noisy neighbours, just for these few months. So yeah, I don't know, is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think that covers it.
We've gone around it very quickly. We will insert clips, well, you would have seen by now because it's near the end, of the bits that have been done between filming. At the moment, it's hard to kind of do more because it's kind of out of our hands. We can't really do much to help or speed things along. We've just got to kind of let them get on with it. We'll be able to start sealing the walls soon, which will be good. And then after that, we can paint and do the floors. So hopefully in 4 weeks' time, we'll be looking at doing that sort of thing. But this kind of middle one is just where it's like in the chaos. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So there you go. What do you think? How do you think it's coming along? We are really happy with the progress so far. Like we said, it's been a much bigger job than we expected. We thought it'd be some little touch-ups here and there, you know, plaster this wall, plaster that wall, be fine. We didn't expect we'd have to rebuild the house from the inside, which is basically what we've done at this point. So it has been much worse than expected, but at the same time, we know that it's all done to a high standard now. We know we're not going to run into any problems over the next few years because everything's done exactly how we wanted. And we've got that extra insulation in the bedroom and the office, which is great because in our line of work, things tend to get a bit noisy. We've got a lot of gaming. Oh, that sounds dodgy. Gaming, I mean, streaming, that sort of thing.
For the office.
For the office.
For the office.
I probably shouldn't have included the bedroom in that part. That definitely came out worse than expected. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's definitely going to add to our privacy. We're not going to be so self-conscious when we're shouting and screaming and chatting away to cameras and stuff. So I'm really happy with that. So yeah, I think we're in a really good place moving forward to take the next few steps. And over the next couple of weeks, I think most of the rooms we've just taken you through are going to be pretty much totally finished and ready to go.
I think we're in or even through the worst of it. I can't imagine it's going to get any worse now, because
definitely.
like pretty much the only room that we haven't looked at very much is this room here. Is that the walls themselves are okay, but the ceiling is all wallpapered and we don't know what's underneath. So this is the only bit left now that could throw another spanner in the works. But like, you know, once you've replaced 5 ceilings, what's a 6th one?
Exactly.
You know, it's very much at that point. The only difficulty with all this is that we don't mind having to fix things. We're thankfully not in a chain, so we can stay where we are for, you know, even 6 months if we really had to. Ideally not, but if we had to, it'd be fine. The problem with all of this is that it costs a lot of money and we don't have infinite money. And there is another side to that, which is you don't want to spend more on a house than its value. So we don't want to do anything to it that's going to go over its value. So it's not only what we can afford, but what also we get in return for selling it. So at the moment, we're still about 20,000 under its value, which is good, but we still have a lot more to do. And the kitchen's going to be 5,000. So we're getting tight, for sure. I mean, the one opposite us, and up one, which I think wasn't as nice of a house. I don't think it had any of the character this one has. That one sold for £90,000 more than we bought this one to fix. So theoretically, we are £75,000 safe. But you know, there's no guarantee that this one would also sell for that amount. So you know, roughly we're going to go with £20,000 safe. So that goes into what we've spent so far. This, since last video, which is the 21st of July, to today, we have spent £4,133. In total, since we bought the house, so that's for any building work, electricians, and materials, we have spent £15,000. 7,000 of that, 7,100 of that has been on the electricians. 7,000 has been on the builders. That's 7,500 being builders. So it's about even so far. We also, in all of this, have created a lot of rubbish because all of the walls and ceilings have had to come down because they have been made with literal rubbish plaster. That's got to go somewhere. So we've also had to spend £400 on waste removal.
That's an annoying one, isn't it?
And we will probably have to do one more of those before we're done.
I would have thought so.
So, you know, we've spent about £15,000, give or take. So, you know.
It's a fair bit.
It's coming along.
Yep. The money will eventually run out, so we've got to be quick.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we've let our builders know that we don't have like an infinite amount that we can spend on this, and that we need to prioritise the bedroom and the office. Once they're done, we can then pick, you know, fix that, fix this. But those rooms have to be done like ASAP, and then the rest of it is, you know, as we go.
Exactly. That's it. As long as the essential bits are done, and then at least we can move in and work around the rest.
Yeah.
And, you know, tick bits off in our own time.
With the whole loft area, we didn't think we'd be able to have a loft at all for like at least 5 years, because a lot of loft attic conversions we got quoted for online for about £20,000 to £25,000. Now that's including, you know, like a Volux window and everything. But actually, the biggest part of that is getting a floor in that you can walk on. That's being done now, and we've made sure the electricians have put cables up to the attic. So there's no light up there, but we've got them to put cables up there ready for lights. So that's like the hardest part, is having a loft hatch to get into the attic floor, and then electric that goes up to the attic. That's all been done now. So when we do eventually want to have like a Velux window or something, we should realistically only have to sort of pay for that rather than a full £25,000.
It's done the groundwork already.
Yeah, it has added more on to the price we're spending now, but not anywhere near as much as if we did it in one go later on. It's worth doing now.
Definitely. Really helpful. So there we go. Another episode wrapped up. Now we've got another busy 4 weeks ahead, and we'll crack on with whatever else we can. I think next time there's going to be a huge transformation. So this is the very middle of the process now. Everything's, like you said earlier, in a state of chaos, and we're really smashing through it. But next time, all these little rooms and jobs that we've started are going to be complete, and it's going to look completely different. And once the rest of the rooms are done, they can take a look at in here, because here still has some problems left to go through. And it's the only room that's been untouched because it's been such a storage space for them. I panned through earlier and you can see all of their supplies in here. So they can't do any work in here while that's all in here. So once the other rooms are done, they can shuffle it all around and take a look in here and fix this dodgy floor we've got.
Yes.
And see what horrors await us underneath this ceiling paper. I think we all know where that's going to go though, don't we? After having a look around the rest of the house. We can just predict that now. But yeah, once this is done, we're good. We're golden. And then we can start looking at moving in, setting up, and cracking on. Been a good time so far.
I mean, the house series, we won't just stop it at like the building work stuff. We'll do it for, you know, setting the office up. And it won't just be painting, it'll be like all the decorating, you know, making the garden or the yard nice. Like it'll be all of that. It won't just be like the hardcore building work. We'll do all of the nice decorating and fun, cute stuff as well. But for now, it's got to look a bit manic and a bit chaotic. But it's good chaos.
It is. It's fun.
You know.
We're excited every time we come here because every time there's such a difference to the last time we came by. And it's just exciting every time. So it's stressful and expensive, but we're living for it. It's a good time. We're enjoying ourselves. It's getting exactly to where we want to go. I mean, we've dreamt about this for so long now, and it's finally taking shape. And we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. And in the next few months, everything's going to change. We'll be up there in that office making our videos, streaming. We'll have all of our gear laid out.
We'll be able to film and then just take it upstairs to edit rather than walking like 40 minutes home and then having to edit there. Exactly. We'll be able to just edit here whilst it's happening. Yeah. So yeah, it's all good progress.
Yep. So we'll catch you next time with more updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you then.